internet, welcome back to Mwelekeo TV, where we bring you stories that make sense and shape the youth, leadership and governance in Kenya. Today, I am joined by a young, fresh and fearless voice within the political space, Davis bin Oluoch. He is a strategist. He is a member of the new generation within the ODM, Orange Democratic Movement. He's a familiar face and name that you have actually come across when on matters politics and especially within the ODM political party. Well, Davis, karibu sana at Mwelekeo TV.
Thank you so much. Yes.
And maybe quickly, I'd want you to tell us your journey into leadership. How did you find yourself here? Did you just wake up and find yourself in the new generation within the ODM? Or how has your journey looked like in the leadership space?
Thank you so much, Frida.
Yep.
And I want to thank Mwelekeo TV for the good work you've been doing.
Yeah.
And I want to wish all the Kenyans happy Mazingira Day.
Happy Mazingira Day.
I can also see that you are in a very, very nice green suit.
In solidarity.
Solidarity with the movement.
Yeah.
As you've just said, my name is Davis Oluoch.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in a plateau called Nyabondo, in Nyakach constituency.
Mm-hmm.
That is in Kisumu County. I grew up there, went to school there until later in life when I joined Masai Mara University.
Mm-hmm.
And I started my political journey at the university.
Okay.
When I was a third year student, nilijikita kwa ulingo ya siasa when I was a third year student, and I said that, let me try this.
Yeah.
And so far so good. I graduated from the university in the year 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And there was going to be an election in the year 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And so the country was very ripe playing politics.
Yeah.
And I said, why can't I try this political game?
Yeah.
And so I joined the ODM party as a strategist, as a rapporteur, and as a researcher for the ODM Youth League.
Okay.
And I will, of course, even help the whole party in strategy involving the young people. How can Baba get young people vote for him in the year 2022? What can we do to lure young people into the political party?
Yeah.
Those are some of the strategies that I've written or have developed for the political party. So I've been the rapporteur, the researcher for the party in terms of youth issues since 2021 to date. And that is how I got myself into the party. And later in life, I developed what is called the ODM New Generation. That was in the year late 2023. Because we were seeing that the numbers in the party were dropping. And so we wanted to come up to revamp the political party, to give it some vibrancy, and to bring very many young people into the political party. So the ODM New Generation was an idea for a new ODM party, a new slogan, a new logo, and everything. Yeah. And even a new caucuses. Yeah. Like currently, ODM has the Youth League, Women League, the Mainstream, and the PWD League. But we wanted to add into very many of those caucuses so that we can have a border league, a teachers league, and so that we can take the party to the people. Yes.
Quite a long journey. Well, many people saw you on Citizen TV, where you featured and you said that young people do not have the power or resources to support themselves. What made you arrive at such a sentiment? Can you kindly elaborate for any viewer or anyone that had come across that video on Citizen TV and would want to understand, what did Davis bin Oluoch mean when he said this?
Frida, politics has become so expensive. Politics, if you want to vie as a young person, wants you to give 500,000 to the political party as a registration for that position you want to vie for. Politics want you to give some money to IEBC. Politics want you to wear a suit like you do. Politics want you to drive a car. If you are not driving a car and you want to vie for a position, you are regarded as not serious, as a joker. Politics want you to give people tokens. Politics want you to print merchandise. Politics is very expensive, more so currently. And politics has become a do or die game. So that someone is able or is willing to give out everything so that he can win a political seat. And by the dint of us being young people, we don't have that much resources. And old people who've stayed here for long, some have accrued a lot of money. Some have been in government positions and they have swindled some money from the government, and so they have a lot of money. So when you put a young person and an old person in this game together, we are so much disadvantaged. So that's what I meant by then. And I think I was asked about, I think it was social media or digital media. And what I said is that digital media has offered, or social media platforms has offered young people platform where we can like espouse our ideals to the people using a very cheap means. Yes, like you can go to your phone today and record yourself saying speaking your ideology, and people can hear you from all over the place on TikTok, on Facebook. So it was cheaper that way. And I was addressing that issue so that people can know that social media has given us an avenue where we can at least have cheap means of doing our campaigns as a generation. Yes.
So you kind of feel that has bridged the gap between us and the old guards with all the money and the wealth to pump into politics.
It hasn't bridged it to that extent we want. But Frida, I think going forward, we must find our strength as a youth, as a generation. And one of our strength now is on the social media. The second strength that is going to be there is on our numbers. Frida, if you check on research, and I think Mwelekeo is a very, very, very well-renowned research institute. Young people, I think we are like at 60% or at 75% of the country's total population. And I think if we can work on our unity as a caucus, then we are going to shake this nation. Another thing we must work on is our vibrancy and our energy. Frida, when I was coming here, I got lost somewhere around here. And within no minute, I was just already here because we have the strength, we have the vibrancy, we can go extra mile. Some young people have the time, we have the research, the research engines. So we must use more of our strengths than to compensate for our weaknesses, to compensate for our shortages, to compensate for what we do not have. Yes.
Well, Davis, as the new generation chair or rapporteur, as you've said, I mean, what in the ODM Youth League specifically, what does it mean in practical terms? I mean, for someone who does not really understand what a rapporteur means or rather does within a political party, could you kindly elaborate to us what are some of the assignments or things that you do as the new generation chair?
Frida, I want to say that I'm the ODM New Generation Chair, but I'm the rapporteur of the ODM Youth League. So as a rapporteur, I'm mandated to develop policies of the Youth League, to compile the reports of the Youth League, to do research on behalf of the Youth League. Sometimes I even write minutes of the sitting of the Youth League NEC or the Youth League Governing Council. So basically that is what I do. But entirely I do a lot of research in terms of where the party is, in terms of the youth, insofar as youth issues are concerned, and where the party wants to go, and what are the young people saying, and how can we marry these issues? So that is what I do. Yes.
Well, having mentioned that you yourself are a researcher, I mean, what is the place of research in today's politics and leadership, maybe?
Research has always been very, very, very vital.
It is.
In any political program here in Kenya, in Tanzania, in the Americas, or even in Germany, or even in Somalia. Because, and that's why government hold dear the National Intelligence Service, and political parties invest a lot in terms of research and planning committees and research committees. Research, Frida, and I want to tell you that even if you want to be a woman, I know you will want one day to be a leader in this country, you must do your research well. Like you have to go, if you want to vie here in Nairobi, let's say you want to be a woman representative, you must go to the streets.
You have to.
And take some samples, go and do some statistics. Let's say you sample like 200 people, and ask them some critical questions, like have some open-ended or closed-ended questions. Let's say you put in that paper or that questionnaire a question like, what would you like the next woman rep to address? What are the most critical things you want the next woman rep to address? So you tell them to give you at least 5 things. So these 5 things, if you sample like 200 people, and then there are things that will be recurring, there are things that will be repeating themselves. Let's say the issues of water, or the issues of gender-based violence, or the issues of climate change. So first, as a the research team will come back with this report, and they will tell you that the issue of water has repeated itself in 150 questionnaires. So we need, as one of our campaign message, the issue of water. So what you will say is that mama na maji. You see, so you'll coin a campaign narrative from what you have done from the ground. So what I want to say is that the issue of research is very critical, and even if you leave the campaign messaging part, if you want to go into that woman rep position for Nairobi, I'm already blessing you in the next election. You must know who won that last election, by how many votes, by how much margin, and what are the compositions. There are the things that trigger people to vote. One in this country is ethnicity. So people will ask, by the way, the people from the mountain are such a percentage in the city. The people from the lake are such a percentage. The people from the coast are such a percentage. So you have to coin a narrative to do what? To like attract this kind of votes. And you also ask, women are such a percentage in the city. Youth are such a percentage. Men are such a percentage. These men in the city, they like this. The youth in the city, they like this thing. The women in the city, this is what they like. So the place of research is the foundation of any political campaign. Yes.
You've heard it from the horse's mouth. Clearly, research is vital, and that is what actually Mwelekeo TV does in a daily-to-day basis. Well, Davis, in your view, what are the biggest structural barriers that are keeping young people not to engage with meaningful participation into Kenyan politics?
Structural barriers. What I will say is that the first thing is the structure in the political institutions. So that you'll find that, like in our party ODM, we have at the topmost decision-making organ, we have something called the Central Management Committee. So in this Central Management Committee sits the party leader, the Prime Minister Raila Odinga, sits the 3 deputies. Today we have 3 deputies, the Honorable Simba Arati, Honorable Abdul Swamad, and Honorable Sotsi. Sits there, Executive Director of the party, Professor Oduro Ngwen. Sits there, the Secretary General, Honorable Edwin Sifuna. There sits the Youth League President. There sits the Women League President. There sits the PWD President. There sits the Secretary of Political Affairs. There sits Chairperson of the party. I think there are 15 people who sits in that committee. But Frida, I want to tell you one of the barriers is that out of these 15 people, we only have one young person. So that if this one young person wants to address the issues of this 70% of the young people, and is stopped by these 14 people, you will have no voice, you will have no partner, you will have no companion in this committee to second him, that now to back him up and say, yes, I agree with the chairperson of the Youth League. The youth, this is what the youth are saying. Do you know what those old men in that committee say, or old women? They say that, but these young people, we live with them in our houses. And then you wonder, Frida. The young people you live with in your houses are sons and daughters of MPs and ministers. They don't reason as us. Those are spoiled brats. So you cannot compare them with us who live here in the streets and know the everything that is here in the streets. So Frida, I want to say that representation in party organs. And Frida, I want to get you from the top decision making to the second top decision making table is called the neck. the National Executive Council. So this National Executive Council sits now 45 people.
45 of them.
Now, shockingly, we only still have only one young person
45.
sitting at that National Executive Council.
Yeah.
That is so sad. So the young people, the voices of the young people are not well represented in this top decision-making organs of the party. The second structural barrier I'll say is what we've talked about, is about the resources. You'll find that the party, when you are vying as a young person, the party wants you to give them, let's say as a member of parliament, they want you to give them 250,000. And the IBC also wants you to give them some money. And the people also want you to give them some money. So this structure of money to the political party, I think, should be scrapped off.
Should be.
Because now it hinders us from getting into politics. So those are some of the two things that are main that now hinder the young people into joining politics and into participating in politics. Yes.
Well, as Mwelekeo Insights, we've done research before, and we have gotten findings of a rising disillusionment among young people politically. And I mean, how can parties like ODM, where you are from, rebuild trust with their young voters? I mean, currently we also have continuous voter registration going on. How can you build the trust as young people to say that really this is a party to affiliate with, it actually has our interest, and I mean, there is no disillusionment, at least in your political party?
So Frida, ODM is going to celebrate its 20th birthday this November in Mombasa. And one of the key things that ODM is going to launch there is something called the Raila Odinga Leadership Academy. And when I was drawing the concept of the ODM new generation, that is one of the things that I placed there. Because Frida, you'll see that, and I've seen you are very active in the campus politics. And many young people are. But then we are told that somehow along the way, young people lost interest in politics, and there's apathy in voter registration, and there's apathy in everything.
Yes.
It is not because of the young people. It is because of the structures. And what I was telling is that ODM is going to launch something called Raila Odinga Leadership Academy. So that as a young person, Frida, you are at the university, let's say of Nairobi, and someone is in Masai Mara University. You get a chance. Immediately you graduate from university. If you have interest in politics, the Raila Odinga Leadership Academy will be scouting you direct from university into this political party and training you and ingraining you into their DNA and telling you this is our ideology. This is our vision. This is our mission. These are our core objectives. And these are our affiliated political parties. These are our values. This is where we want this party to be in the next 10 years. This is our roadmap to get there. This is what we want this political party to be in the next 20 years. This is our roadmap to get there. So those are some of the things that the Orange Democratic Movement Party is doing. The secondly, of course, is about the youth wing. And Frida, I want to tell you that ODM is the first political party that came up with the idea of a youth league. And of course, all these other political parties then came in and adopted the idea. But the idea of a youth league or a youth wing is a very noble idea, because then you get a voice through this youth league. If you have an issue, then you can raise it through those youth league. If the political party is going to an election and you want to write a manifesto, the youth league give its insights into the manifesto on what they want addressed, or insofar as youth issues are concerned. So the idea of the youth league, of course, there is another idea of the ODM Comrades chapter, or a students league, so that the students can also have their own league, so where they can also address their issues. But Frida, I want to say, and I want to admit, that political parties have not done a lot, or are not so deliberate in getting young people who are active in politics at the university and bringing them into the political parties and teaching them that this is what this party means, this is what this party stands for, this is where this party wants to go. And it's something that political parties should really, really improve. Of course, the last thing is that in these decision-making organs, we should, or we must, have young people represented.
Yes.
And a sizable number.
Exactly.
If we have one person represented out of 45 people who are in that decision-making organ, we must at least have 10%.
10%.
At least 5 or at least 10. If we have 200 people in a decision-making organ, we'll at least have 20 young people or even 30. So decision-making organs, young people should be represented well. So some of the things that the parties should do to improve the youth inclusion in politics.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot talk about the youths without having the youths on board. It's like unaongelea kitengo fulani cha watu na hakuna mwakilishi wao baina ya hao watu ambao wamekaa hapo. So it really does make sense. I mean, and it would have you wondering if you only have one person out of the 45 possible as the representation of the youth, yet we are discussing youthful matters. You see, and of course, even as you've mentioned the wings and everything, I'd also want to, mention the young captains. I know there's a team called the Young Captains. I've seen very young, vibrant women from the university. I've seen a very young lady called Rosalind Alionya doing a very good business there. So I mean, I feel like if you take that trajectory, we might be heading somewhere, and maybe the disillusionment we will replace with trust among the young voters and fresh voters.
Sure.
And maybe I'd want to have your opinion with regards to youth voices and old guards. I mean, how can youth leaders balance political loyalty with the need to speak truth to power within their parties, while also standing with loyalty to the party, while also speaking your truth as a young person?
Frida, I want to answer this question this way.
Yeah.
That loyalty is a good thing.
It is.
And loyalty is a currency.
Yeah.
And you see, Frida, if someone is loyal to you, he or she must be able to tell you the truth.
Sure.
So that is also loyalty. Loyalty should not be traded with sycophancy, like just saying it for the sake of unafunika mheshimiwa macho. Nambe watu wako na wewe, by the way, but yet you know clearly that watu hawako na yeye. So another thing that I want to say is that loyalty should be to the party, not to an individual.
Okay.
Frida, when I was joining the ODM party, I read the constitution of the ODM party. I read the manifestos of the ODM party since 2007. ODM party was formed in 2005. Our first manifesto was written in 2007. We had a manifesto in 2013. We had a manifesto in 2017. And we didn't have a manifesto in 2022. We had a combined manifesto, combined Azimio manifesto.
Yeah.
So the ideals of ODM, you see, ODM, Frida, is a center-left political, social democratic political party.
Okay.
So there are ideals that a center-left social democratic political party stands for. So at any time, and I was in this conundrum, I think last year, when the youth were on the streets and they were saying this. And at some point, the party was also telling us this. And then I had to marry all these thises. So who should I go with? Should I go with what the youth are saying in the street or what the party is saying? And then I read the party constitution and the party policy and the party manifesto and the party founding documents. Then I went with the loyalty to the party. So loyalty to the party does not mean that we are loyal to individuals or to party leaders or to secretary generals. It is loyalty to what? To the founding ideals of a political party. But Frida, I also want to admit that sometimes we have to be loyal to what everyone has agreed upon. Like I told you that the party has a central management committee, a party has a national governing council, party has a national executive council, a party has a national delegates conference containing over 5,000 delegates. So imagine, Frida, somewhere seated 5,000 people, and they have said that in 2027, we are presenting Raila Odinga, the Right Honorable, to be a presidential candidate. You might have a differing opinion, but then you must now go with the collective. Yes, because sometimes you must not win all the arguments all the time. So sometimes we get loyal to the party, when all of us are consulted, all of us are in agreement, or even if not all of us, majority are in agreement. So we must go with what the majority says. That's what democracy
well,
also...
Davis, as you say that,
Yes.
early this week we've had conversations, or rather we've been hearing rumors. Winds were blowing and saying that maybe there's a chair to a particular political party that was having conversations around joining the government. And of course, yesterday we saw that the chair party, the party leader went ahead to do what? To join the current government.
Yes.
I mean, what would you deduce of that as a young person within a political party, a party with which you've been very vibrant and talking about how you want the current government to work? You've been whistleblowing, sawa.
Yes.
Then you wake up tomorrow and you see your chairperson shaking hands with the current government that you've actually been opposing. So really, how at such a particular situation, how do you stand with the political party ideologies and what you believe as truth? And also, as a young person, you have political ambitions. You're looking at people that are looking at you, so they'll be like, are you following what the chairperson is doing, or rather, what is your stand as a young person at such a situation?
Frida, that is what is ailing this country. Because some political leaders, political parties, or chairmen, or chairwomen, just wake up one day and make a decision that affects everyone without consulting everyone or anyone. So that is very wrong. And I want to condemn Honorable Gideon Moi. Honorable Gideon Moi has made some of his supporters to abuse the president, to abuse the government. And Frida was telling a story back behind the scene. That there's a time I went to one embassy in this country, and we were seated there talking about the state of the nation. But then some of these embassies want to be banga CGI. They take us to their embassies and they want us to give them the state of the nation. And I was the only member. In fact, UDO was not represented. There was a panel. There was members of Jubilee, members from KANU, members from NAC Kenya, members. Now I was the one representing the ODM party there. And then there was a lady from KANU who stood there and said, ODM, you people are nonsense. You are foolish. You are very stupid. You will not care for human rights. Blah, blah, blah. And I went mute. And now everyone picked it from there. And it was flogged. I was flogged. I was flogged in that panel. And I tried to explain to them the situation, that you see the country is in some deep hole. We cannot continue digging. We must find a solution. But when I went home and reflected, and I said, this is KANU lecturing me about human rights. KANU that has done atrocities to this country for 24 years, and they have never asked for forgiveness. They've never said sorry. If you compare KANU and ODM, ODM party has been on the streets for 20 years since they were founded. And then came the Standard newspapers, which is being owned by Honorable Gideon Moi. Standard newspaper has been screaming headlines about how Raila has been bribed, how Nani has been bribed. Whether this Standard newspaper is now another political movement. Because now, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks, their Secretary General was accused, I think, of murder. Yesterday, Honorable Gideon Moi was at State House. Today, Standard newspaper has not given us a screaming headline. But now when it is another political party, they make the loudest noise. But Frida, according to your question, it is not good. I don't know what not good, any other adjective. It is bad for a political leader of any kind to make a decision that is so crucial without consulting party members. And even if you cannot get party members all at a time, why can't you bring the National Delegates Conference and ask the delegates? And even if you cannot get the delegates, why can't you bring the National Governing Council? That is I think 100 people. If you cannot get the 100 people National Governing Council, why can't you get the National Executive Council consisting of 40 or 45 people? If you cannot get the National Governing Council, why can't you get the Central Management Committee of at least 15 people? If you cannot get the central management, why can't you get the youth league and ask the youth league, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Why can't you get the women league and ask the women league, what do you think about this?
Okay.
Why can't you get the PWD league and ask the PWD, what do you think about what? Why can't you even get the Nairobi chapter, the KANU Nairobi branch, and ask the Nairobi branch, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
But now people are seated somewhere in Kapsabet, waiting in scorching sun, and then they see you in State House and you are saying, now I've dropped my bid, my candidacy, my candidature for the senatorial seat, and now we are in government. And then there's someone called Cornelius Rono who has been fighting everyone on social media. And then he goes mute. So I think it's bad manners from a political leader to do that.
Sure.
Yes.
It puts its members at a jeopardized position now.
Yes. And I think that is why sometimes I appreciate the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga.
Okay.
You see, last year, not even last year, it was this year, there was something we signed with UDA called 10-point agenda, the MOU. And he went round, by the way. He went to Kisii, he went to Narok, sat with the caucus there. He went to the Coast region, sat with the caucus there. He went to Wajir, sat with the caucus there. And he came here in Nairobi and sat with the caucus. And then he made that decision.
Sure.
And if you look at how ODM communicates its things, its resolution, they always sit down. Even if they cannot get the National Delegates Conference, they always sit down, the 15 people, and they deliberate on issues. And the Secretary General always now reads the resolutions of the party. The Prime Minister does not just wake up one day and say, now as a party, this is what we are doing. So even if we are disgruntled, but then even if personally I'm disgruntled, but you see in that 15-member committee, there's a youth leader there.
Yes.
So then the party leader would ask me, but you have a youth? It now is upon your youth leader who was supposed now to come and consult me. So at least there's always some structure.
So in a nutshell, you're saying in ODM, at least there is involvement even before the party leader or rather the chairperson goes ahead to make any decision. There
is always involvement, including now. When we want to have a celebration, there is a committee that has been put in place, and this committee has everyone.
Sure.
We have youth leaders who are represented there. We have women leaders represented there. We have people from everywhere. And by the way, if you check on ODM, and I'm not beating the trumpet so much. Of course, there are some ills in the ODM. That maybe if you get time, I will also explain. But if you look at the Central Management Committee of ODM, like now the 15 people, it has the face of the nation. In terms of this thing that the people shout a lot about, in terms of ethnicity, you find that the Prime Minister is from the Lake. We have 3 deputies. We have Simbarati from somewhere there, Abagusi. We have Abdul Swamad from the Coast region. We have Osotsi from the Western region. The Secretary General is from the Western region. You see, our organizing secretary is the governor of Wajir. He's from the Northeastern region. We have the Youth League president. Is called John Ketora. He's a Maasai. We have the Women League president. Is called Honorable Beth Siengo. He's from the Kamba region. Like we have everyone then represented.
The face of Kenya.
Yes, the face of Kenya. Even if now we get out of the face of Kenya, you come back to the gender. We have Honorable Rosa Buyu in that committee. We have Honorable Gladys Wanga in that committee. Then Honorable Beth Siengo is also in that committee. Then of course one young person is also there. But then we are not convinced with that.
Sure.
We need some two seats. Or even 3.
Even 3.
Yes.
Well, they'll have to revisit that over time.
Yes.
And maybe, Davis, would you tell me, after the 2024 to 2025 youth activism, Gen Z were on the street. Do you think this passed a message to political parties on how to further engage youths in their decisions, or rather in their programs?
You see, Frida 2024-2023 was a very, very solemn year. A sacred year. And Frida, I always say something. I'm going to say it here. That I'm Gen Z. I was born in late 1997. But of course I don't look Gen Z. You see this life, the economy. And everything. But I was on the streets.
Oh, you were on the streets?
I was on the streets in the year 2024, in the June, when we marched to Parliament. I was on the streets this year, June 25th. when we were commemorating the Gen Zs who had died. I was on the streets on the Sabasaba Day this year.
You were there.
I was there. And so this was an awakening of a generation.
It was.
And the generation came out and said that enough this time. Enough with opulence in government, when people in Turkana and people in the slums cannot afford a meal. Enough with the rampant corruption, and corruption is even an understatement. Enough with greed and looting. Enough. And so we marched on the streets. People were all over. Nairobi was like crazy. I was there, and it was a million march. It was bigger than the Martin Luther King march on Washington. And people were there in Kisii, and people were there in Mombasa, and country. People were there everywhere in this country. And
did it change a thing?
That is now where we are coming to.
Okay.
And we had issues. And Frida, I want to say that to some extent, and I want to answer this in twos. To some extent, the political leaders now are afraid. If they hear that there are young people outside the political party, they want to talk to you, they will listen to them.
They have to listen.
And many political parties, political leaders nowadays, they want to associate with the Gen Z. Maraga want to claim that he is the Gen Z candidate. Boniface Mwangi is a Gen Z candidate. Fred Matiang'i, I'm the Gen Z candidate. Kalonzo Musyoka, I'm the Gen Z candidate. Rigathi Gachagua, the same. William Ruto is also trying to
be the Gen Z candidate.
To be the Gen Z candidate. So I want to say, to some extent, it changed. But to a bigger extent, the higher calling, the long-term goal that we ought to have achieved with that Gen Z revolution, we have not achieved it.
We've not achieved it.
And if we are not careful, we will not achieve it.
Okay.
You see, Frida, in 1963, there were young people who were on the streets and some were in the forests who were fighting to reclaim the glory of this nation. And after that fight, today, Frida, we have an independent country, our own beautiful flag, our own national anthem, our own black president, our own Supreme Court Chief Justice, our own black parliament. And then they have something to show. They have a legacy as a generation. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, where he lies, or Jomo Kenyatta, or Bildad Kagia, or Dedan Kimathi, they lie there peacefully. And even God will reward them. God will tell them that I gave you this, and you fought, and you gave your country this. People who lived in the 1980s have something to brag about. The Martha Karuas, the Wangari Maathais, the Raila Odingas, the Orengos. They fought and they gave us multi-party democracy. And today I can sit here as a member of ODM. We have a party called KPP that is coming up so strongly.
Be on the lookout.
Yes, KPP is coming out strongly. We have Jubilee Party. We have all these other political parties. And it is credit to these people who fought. Then there are people who came here in the early 2000s who fought the Moi authoritarian regime. And they also gave us a new constitution. And today, Honorable Sifuna and the Babu Owinos and the Millie Odhiambos, they sit somewhere and they can brag that as a generation, this is what we achieved. But our generation, we have not achieved anything so far. Because what we can brag of is that we marched on the street and we touched parliament. Now, is that a legacy? And that is where I disagreed with the Gen Zs. We ought to have heed to the call of a national dialogue. And in that national dialogue, I foresaw us coming with our grievances on paper and saying that this and this and this is what we want to see in the new Kenya. And they must be inculcated in this country. We don't want 47 counties. It depends. It must not necessarily be what I'm thinking. But we don't want 47 counties. We want 13. We don't want police. We want police to be reformed in such a way.
Yeah.
We want healthcare to be reformed in such a way.
Okay.
We don't want our slums in this country.
Mhm.
We are giving you president 3 years. We don't want to see any slum.
Mm.
We want the digital medias
Yes.
to be given blah, 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 what they want. Like we wanted everyone to come on that table
Mhm.
and say what the problem is
Mhm.
and give out their solutions.
Yeah.
And then we design a new Kenya.
Mhm.
Then, Frida, if you 30 years, 40 years to come or 50, you are seated somewhere with your grandchildren,
Mhm.
you can tell them that, by the way, in the year 2024,
Mhm.
we went on the streets, we
Mhm.
marched, and these are some of the things that we brought into this country.
Yeah.
By the way, today we have free education. It wasn't there.
Mhm.
By the way, today you see we don't have corruption.
Yeah.
But today you see we have very many infrastructures.
Mhm.
This was our fight.
Mhm.
But so far, as a generation,
Yeah.
there's nothing we can brag
At
about.
all.
Yes, yes.
Well, Davis, and how can fiscal and governance policies maybe be made more responsive to youth realities such as unemployment? It's actually, I mean, it's an issue. If we've done research before as Mwelekeo, and the findings were that unemployment is actually an issue, and it cuts across all counties within the country. I mean, really, how can fiscal and governance policies be made more responsive to address these issues of unemployment, digital economy, and overall the entrepreneurship sector?
You see, Frida, I studied Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship
Okay.
at the university because many people were telling us that if you graduate from university, there are no jobs.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to know how to run a business,
Mm-hmm.
how to come up with an idea,
Okay.
how to birth an idea, and how to start a business and to make it profitable,
Yeah.
and to expand it
Mm-hmm.
to other counties or even to other countries.
Yeah.
And what I can say is that we are average as a nation. We are mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we were very serious in dealing with this issue, unemployment,
Okay.
today we could have been very far.
Mm-hmm.
Frida, I want to say that policies around unemployment and the mechanisms to cure unemployment are very many.
Yeah.
And if you benchmark all over the world, there are very many mechanisms.
Okay.
But the first thing I want to say is that we don't have a clear database
Okay.
on who is in school, who has graduated, who has gotten a job, and who doesn't, and what are their profiles, like what are their skills, what are their experiences. We need to have a database of who is not employed and who is underemployed and who is employed. We are doing poorly there. Secondly, we need to invest in industries.
Yes.
Very many industries. We have space in this country. We have labor in this country. We have resources. Why can't we then invest in industries so that people can be employed? Third is on entrepreneurship. Frida, there are young people who don't want employment, but they want to start a business.
Yes.
What is the bureaucracy around starting a business? You see, there are very many licenses you need.
A lot.
You need after all those licenses, you still need to pay a bribe to start a business in this country.
You end up spending more than actually the startup amount for that business.
So the question should be, how do we make entrepreneurship easy? Coming up with an idea. What are the institutions we've built to support entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
There was an idea, I think, in ODM manifesto called the business incubation centers.
Okay.
We need to have business incubation center, I think, in every constituency.
Okay.
So that if you have an idea as Frida and you don't have the resources, you can go to that incubation center. They can test this idea for you. They can enrich that idea.
Okay.
And they can even give you a few resources that now go and start this business.
Okay.
Or they can even start it in that lab. They can start it in that lab. There's an idea of tax holidays. Like now, my brothers here are having business around this place. I've walked around and I've seen some small businesses, SMEs. They need to be given tax holidays. That now, this year, you should not pay taxes.
Oh, tax holidays.
So this motivates other young people to get into business. There are also some incentives and even some grants that businesses can be small businesses or even businesses run by young people can be given.
Yeah.
But Frida, the biggest thing are the institutions that can help us navigate entrepreneurship.
Okay.
These institutions can be built at the universities or can be built independently.
Yes.
So that this institution can train us or can train young people on the fundamentals of business, fundamental of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So that we get them skills and some resources so that they can start their own businesses.
Sure.
If we can maximize all these issues, we can maximize building industries, training on entrepreneurship, and having a data of who is not employed, who is employed, where are they, and tracking these people, and then trying to fix them somewhere.
Yeah.
Then we will be very far.
We have solved that problem of unemployment and even entrepreneurship sector and the digital economy.
Yes.
Well, in your assessment, how has the government programs like the Hustler Fund and even currently we have Nyota? I've seen Nyota has been launched by the government. I mean, how are these programs? How can they be improved in order to benefit the young people?
You see, Frida, the biggest problem we have in this country is leadership and politicians.
Yeah.
Politicians see a reason of getting rich.
Yeah.
Like now we have Nyota, which is being run by one of my good friends. He was actually a youth leader at ODM. He was actually a member of our new generation.
Okay.
When we were forming the new generation, we have 7 pointers. We have 7 leaders.
Yeah.
We had 7 leaders. So Fikrin Jacobs was one of the leaders of the ODM new generation. And what I can say, Frida, is that the issue is not about the program per se. It's about the leaders who run these programs.
Who run the programs, okay.
Because some of them see that, we have 20 billion for Nyota. Now, how can we get half of this money in our pocket?
So they're actually looking for avenues to siphon money from the government.
Yes. Well, but if these programs are just coordinated well, then they can bring a lot of change.
They can be of benefit.
If it is implemented as per what is written on that paper, that Nyota is supposed to support this kind of number, 800,000 with 50,000, we also be giving them some training. It is so good on paper, but on implementation, sometimes that is where we go wrong. But of course, I don't want to preempt on Nyota. I want to give them a benefit of doubt. About Hustler Fund, I think it was also a noble idea because it is easy to get. Like it is not something like these other funds, youth funds. Youth funds, lazima upeleke papers sijui wapi. The Hustler Fund, you just get into your phone and you download sijui nini na kidogo pesa inaingia. But now the pesa ilikuwa kidogo.
Sure.
So kurun a substantial business with that money ilikuwa ngumu. But it was also a noble idea. And it ilieka innovation in it, so that it was so easy. In fact, it was one of the easiest government services
way to get money.
not like to get money. One of the easiest government services to access.
To ever exist.
Yes, to access. Like all these government services. Lazima uende upange line wapi, sijui nini, sijui ulete barua gani ya chief.
It becomes a hectic problem.
Yes, very, very hectic.
Well, if you're just tuning in, this is Mwelekeo TV, and we have Davis bin Oluoch oozing wisdom onto how the party politics operate, party structures, and him being from the new generation within the ODM. Getting into the bigger picture, Davis.
Yes.
I mean, how can youth activism move from protest to actual policies? How can they influence policies apart from just tumeandamana kisha tumerudi? How can we move away from just the maandamano and now look at the policies influence? Yeah.
You see, Frida, I've read a few books, not so many. And I've read about the Salt March in India.
Yeah.
I've read about the Nelson Mandela. I went into prison, and Nelson Mandela was a firebrand. Nelson Mandela was a firebrand. He was a real activist. And then came Steve Biko. Steve Bantu Biko was another really, really fierce activist. Read Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings, and they were very, very fierce. Jomo Kenyatta and the Jaramogis and the Bildad Kagias were very, very fierce. But sometimes, Frida, we need to know how to marry fierceness with now policy.
Yes.
Now, as a fierce person, you are now given a task. Okay, now you're the president.
Yeah.
Now, can you deliver this?
What can you do? Yeah.
Yes. Now, let me get back home to 2024 after we've been on the streets for a year or so.
Yeah.
And now we are asked, now what next? Frida, I want to take you back to the national dialogue. 2024 was a year of reckoning.
Sure.
And we needed to shift a lot of things in terms of how this country is going, how we want, where we want this country to go, how we want this country to be designed.
Yes.
So, Frida, my idea for policy at that time, and even now, is that we need to sit down. And Frida, we know, we've seen these firebrand young people. We know them.
Yeah, we know them.
We could have selected a few of them to sit at this negotiating table. At this the people we know that this cannot, always to uza, and they are tough on negotiating. And from there, we could have everyone represented.
Yes.
And we could have borrowed all our youthful experts. Frida, I don't know what you studied, but we could have brought you there and asked you, Frida, about agriculture.
Yeah.
What are the best practices around the world that you want to see a new Kenya develop?
Yes.
So that we could have had all these ideas in one big plan.
Sure.
So that we call it a Gen Z plan or Agenda 2025 Gen Z plan. In every area, like in the police reforms, about our agriculture, you ask why we don't have do irrigation in the northern or in Turkana.
Yeah.
About police reforms, about how we want our slums to be, want our agriculture to be, how we want our women be treated, how we want our young girls be treated. All this in one policy document, and say that as a country and as youth, we are 70% of this nation.
Yes.
This is what we want this country to look like.
Okay.
These are the actions. These are the policies we want this country to use going forward.
Okay.
So we use that thing in the constitutions you call we the people, or the sovereignty of the people belongs to the people. So that we inculcate all these policies into our country. But then I don't know if we've missed that opportunity. Because now the politicians have told you that now wait for 2027. But are we going to die before 2027? We need to do something.
So, Davis, do you actually believe that young politicians can transform Kenya's political culture, or they will inevitably be absorbed and get into the old system of operation and all the rogueness, all the crookedness? I mean, how do you think young people can wipe the current mentality that we have about leadership? Do you think the youth are in a position to do that?
Now, that is where now I'm getting worried. Because we are so many, but we are disorganized. We don't have one unit. We don't have one leader. We don't have one blueprint. Yes. We disagree on everything.
Yes.
Today, if you ask someone, we want to get Ruto out of office, who do you want to replace Ruto with? Those are the questions someone will tell you, even if you bring us a dog or a sheep, we will elect that sheep. And then you are worried, we want us to elect a sheep to lead this nation. Is that how low we've stooped? So we are still disorganized. We don't have a focus and we don't have a clear blueprint. Yeah. And we have very many caucuses. Today, there's a caucus called Interparties Youth Forum. Yeah. There's a caucus called Youth Senate. There's a KYPA, the KYMCA. There's National Youth Council. We don't know even where they are. Yeah. We have now the Youth Leagues. We have now the Student Caucus, the KUSO. Even in KUSO, you have KUSO A, KUSO B, KUSO C.
They're not united.
One is led by Manyara. The other is led by Oguk. The other was being led by Fikirini, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, Frida, if we get united and get our best brains in every sector, and in every region and in all diversities and all genders, then we are going to do magics in 2027 and even going forward for this nation. Yes.
Well, Davis, getting into your personal vision and future outlook. When you look at yourself maybe in 10 years ahead from now, what kind of political landscape do you want to see, and what role do you hope to play in shaping it, you as a person and of course the overall youths in the country?
Frida, that's a very tough question. But you see, there's a book called, I think, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And Stephen Covey says in one of those rules that begin with the end in mind. Okay. So that if you're a young person and you're not so clear on what your purpose is, why can't you begin as a 60-year-old and say that, who would I like to be when I'm 60?
When I'm 60.
Which kind of impacts do I want to create when I'm 60? What do I want people to say about me when I'm 60 or even when I'm dead? When I'm dead. Yeah. And he tells you that assume you are in a casket in some church somewhere and then people are giving eulogies. Yeah. What would you like people to say about you? Yep. So I want to see a developed nation. Sure. I want to see what is the opposite of mediocre. Not average. I want to see us flying up there. Yeah. And President Ruto, in his latest sentiments, have tried to give us imagination of what this country could be in terms of everything. I want to see a developed country. I want to see a country that human rights are respected, are sacred. Yeah. I want to see a country where we can feed ourselves. I want to see a country that is not ethnically divided. And I'm so worried about this tribalism. Yeah.
But that is the future you are envisioning.
Yes, I'm envisioning a future where the country, we have just sisters and brothers and fathers and mothers, and everyone lives in harmony. And your second name cannot deter you to getting a job or an opportunity, or even getting a school or a fund somewhere, or even getting married. Some people maybe siezi mtu kama huyu. So I'm envisioning a country that is well developed in terms of infrastructure, developed in terms of our rights, then a united where we don't see people in tribal lenses. Innovation. I'm looking forward to a country that is well innovated in all sectors. Innovation in our agriculture, innovation in our everything, innovation in our education. Yes, that is a country I'm trying to envision.
That's pretty beautiful, trying to have a look at it as you're saying. Yes. And how do you personally stay grounded amid the political pressure that comes with being a young leader, the pressure, the expectations? How do you stay grounded as Davis?
You see, Frida, politics is so hard. Yeah. Very, very, very hard. Most of if you're in a political party like ODM, now very hard. There's a lot of competition in ODM.
There is.
And some people will tell you, you are so young, you just came here yesterday, you can't get this opportunity. There's a queue. You have to follow that queue. And so, Goja. Kwanza. Then, kuna fitina mingi.
A lot.
And ile mbaya kabisa is as a strategist when you've given the party the best strategy.
Yeah, there is.
And they don't use it or they ignore it. They put it in some shelf. You see, Frida, ODM New Generation is alias or AKA ODM Gen Z. And we wrote a document to the party, a blueprint. We told the party there's something called Gen Z that is coming up here. And they actually have numbers. Yeah. And we give the party where these numbers are. These numbers are in the universities, some are in the slums, some are in social media. This is how to get them. This is how to make this party vibrant for them. Now do this and bring them in the party. Yes. Then the party picked that paper, put it in some bookshelf somewhere, and wakayacha. And then the Gen Z revolution now now came out now, and they were now saying, "Oh, Davis, blah blah blah. Where is that document?" I was really frustrated, and of course, there are things I don't want to say here, but
it is well for the
but now
of the party
for the benefit of the party. But now to stay grounded, there's someone who says that fall down 7 times, wake up the 8th time, and some of the time, sometime I look at the bigger picture and what happens in the long run. And Frida, if you look at this country keenly, things pass very fast.
They do.
So sometimes I also use that this one will just,
this will pass.
This will just pass. So sometimes you just be silent, sit somewhere silently, let it pass. Like today we are talking, I think, about Burale. Tomorrow it will be about COVID-19. Yesterday it was about Albert Ojwang. Today we don't even remember who Albert Ojwang was. There was a young lady who was killed at Mandamano, a very young child, tumemsahau. So sometimes when those waves come in the political realm, you just be silent. But of course, sometimes you also make a decision. You say that this now is the bare minimum. This is the limit. If we don't agree on this and this and this, then I better quit. You are a priority. Of course, sometimes I've also thought about quitting. Tough decisions have to be made. Yes, sometimes. Because then if these political parties cannot have a reward scheme for the young people, and Frida, when I joined the party, we have young tax in the party. People who are I also didn't want to talk about it, but let me just say, there are people who are not like below 35, but are still serving in the youth league. And then if you ask them, like, now, this is now our time, you also need to give us space. What they tell you is that we've served this party since we were 18, some in our early 20s, and we've never been rewarded. So they're still waiting in line. So they are still waiting in line. So hey, you line in ndefu, tutafikiwa lini? So that line, it's upon the party. It's upon the party to reward its young people. And I also got a little bit mad when the party gave some experts to the government. And the women won. There was a woman who was given as an expert to the government. The not so young people, were also included in as experts, but there was no young people who was given a position as an expert. Then these people, they were leaders in the party. Like Honorable John Mbadi was the chairperson of the ODM party. Honorable Wandai was the secretary of political affairs. Joho was the deputy party leader. Oparanya was also the deputy party leader. But even the replacements in the party, there was no young person who replaced now these old guards in these positions. So we questioned the party that what is the position of the young people in this party? Because we have very many vibrant young people in that party. I know many people don't know. Many people just think that ODM is a party of young goons. To meet ODM young people, into the industry by day. Or many just know Kasmuel. They just think that Kasmuel is the Kasmuel, and they see that is how all the youths look like. Yes, and now you see Rosalina Leonya. Of course, they are very intelligent young people, but there are very many young people including now Fikrini Jacobs. Like Fikrini Jacobs was unused in that party for the last 5 years. Many people didn't even know there existed someone called Fikrini Jacobs. But then I can tell you the ODM party has very many vibrant young people in that party. Who should be put to use, actually. Should be used. So we put the party on notice. People of the internet, thank you for tuning in. And maybe even as we are concluding, Davis, would you what message do you have for the young people that are watching you on Mwelekeo TV? What do you have to tell them about what we've been discussing, and what are we looking at politically, even in the ODM youth wing and general youth representation? What do you have to tell them? That's your camera. You see, Chinua Achebe was a very good African writer. And Chinua Achebe asks in one of his first books called Things Fall Apart, that where are the young suckers who will grow when the old banana dies? The young people of this nation must now answer that question. Do we have the young suckers already? Or are they not yet born? And are we ready? And Professor P.L. Lumumba also says that leadership is a relay baton, is a relay race, or is like a relay race. That one generation passes the baton to another, the another continues with. I think it's time as a generation, we know our generational goal and we seek ways of addressing this generational goal. All these other generations have made sure that they have achieved their generational goal. And Frida, I said that in 1963, we have statues built in this city of Jomo Kenyatta, of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, of Tom Mboya, of Ronald Ngala, because they managed to succeed in their goals. The people in the 1980s managed to achieve their goals, the likes of Martha Karua, the Koigi Wamweres, the Paul Mwites, the Gitobui Manyaras, the James Orengos, the Anyang Nyongos. The people in early 2000s managed to achieve their goal. Today we have a new constitution. We removed an authoritarian regime. We have a little bit fairer democracy or a bigger democracy than most African countries. And they are proud of that. Today as a generation, there's nothing much we've achieved. We need to find that generational goal and we need to achieve it. Yes.
I waited for you to mention tokea mkuwe registered kama wapigaji kura. Yeah, but I mean, the message is home.
Yes.
Quickly, I'd want to give you fire questions, even without thinking, just a few minutes. I mean, really, one Kenyan youth you admire?
Very many.
Very many. Who tops the list?
But I'll say I like Fikirini Jacobs.
Fikirini Jacobs.
Because of his resilience. Fikirini Jacobs, we went to school together at Masai Mara University. And he was suspended there. We went to Pwani University, was suspended there. And then when everyone thought that now he should lose hope, Fikirini Jacobs came back, vied for senatorial position. He was not given the party ticket. Then he was placed in the party list for senatorial nomination. Then he did not get it. Then he did not lose hope, Fikirini Jacobs. Then today he's the permanent secretary for youth affairs. So I really like his spirit. Yes.
Yeah, you keep at it. And what one book or quote has shaped your political or leadership philosophy?
I like The Audacity of Hope by former president of the United States of America, Barack Obama. And just like Fikirini, Barack Obama was a black man in America and inexperienced and did not have a lot of money, but rose up to become one of the most powerful presidents in the world in a white country. So, and The Audacity of Hope, out of all his books, gives me the authentic journey of Barack Obama from how he was born, how he came to know of his father. He came here in Kenya, lived for I think 1 month or 2 months. He wanted to know his roots, went back to America, vied to be a senator, he actually lost some time, went back, won the senatorial seat, and another one term, he was the president of the United States of America. Yes.
That's a good book. If you became an ODM youth leader today, what is this one reform that you'd push?
Reform that I'll push at the Orange Democratic Movement Party is to have 50% representation in all party organs by young people. Yes.
Okay, and describe Kenya's youth in one word.
I'll say a lot of things, but if you say one word, I'll say vibrant.
Vibrant.
Yes.
Vibrant is the word.
Yes.
Yeah, is Kenya ready for a youthful president from where you sit?
We are ready.
We are.
I'll tell you, Frida, we are very ready. And sometimes I wonder about these young people who already have the limelight, but they don't want to say that I'm going to be president. In fact, today I was very proud of Salasia. when he said that I'm going to be president.
Yes.
And I'm very worried about Babu Owino. Why is even not saying that I want to be
He wants to be
president? Or
president.
even Dini Nyoro.
Yes.
Frida, I want to tell you, I've done research on youth leadership from the Bible. The likes of David, Jesus Christ, they were young people. If you go to Alexander the Great, a young person, there was a one leader, not having a title, but she was called Malala Yousafzai. I want you to go and research about her. She won the Nobel Peace Prize, I think at 17 years of age. Talk about Joseph. Talk about Tom Mboya. These people are young. Talk about now, even currently, we have a young president in Burkina Faso. Another one, I think, in another country here in Africa. So we are ready for a youthful president. It's only that we condone these old guards, and we've condoned them for a very long time. But I think time is ripe. Also now with this Gen Z revolution, time is now for us to have a youthful or a youth president.
You take up the mantle.
Yes.
Davis, thank you so much for the great insights that you've shared. Any final word, even as we conclude the show today?
Final word. Thank you so much, Frida, for hosting me this morning. I thank the Mwelekeo TV for the good work you've been doing. Continue doing it. Of course, I would urge all the young people across this nation, whether you are in Turkana or in Mandera or in Garissa or in Kisii, Nyamira, Kisumu, Homa Bay, Kakamega, Busia, Makueni, Kitui, Magarini, Kilifi, Mombasa, Kajiado, Narok, Nyeri, or even in Nyandarua. Get out your votes. Get out and register as voters. Because everything, literally everything, is on the ballot.
It is.
Good healthcare is on the ballot. Good education is on the ballot. Good roads on the ballot. Everything is on the ballot. So if we don't take this chance to get out the votes, we will be outclassed again in the year 2027. And maybe in the year 2028, if we are not careful, we'll get back to the streets with banners of Kasongo. So get out and register as voters so that we become ready for 2027. But thank you so much, Frida, for hosting me. It has been a very nice conversation. And I also wish you well as Mwelekeo and as yourself in all your pursuits and all your dreams.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
What we've heard reminds us that Kenyans politics is on transition, and at Mwelekeo Insights, we remain committed to bring you real-time and evidence-driven conversations where data meets dialogue. I have been your host, Frida Mongare. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you.